So Flutter got a tons of widgets, but these are the only 6 widgets that you're going to use 90% of the time. So first, row. Row widget is actually just horizontal. So here is an example. Here is a home page and there is a left side and the right side. So we need to use row, which in this case here is just row widget and then 1, 2 from left to right, straightforward. And you can also align the content to front, center, or end. Okay, here is another example. There is 3 buttons here inside one row. But I mean, how? You can see here, I put a row and then 3 buttons inside. But the parent is container. For now, just ignore the container because I can exist without the container. Yeah, it's still gonna work. Anyway, how can I put these 2 buttons at the front and this button at the end? First, I put the alignment at the front. But how can this button at the end? Well, click this button here and then 2 steps. First, make this button expandable. But after you do this, something like this will happen. Yeah, this is bad. So the second step is align at the right. Just click this button. I don't know why this works. It just worked. Alright, column. Column is basically the same with row just now. But column is vertically aligned. I know that might seem obvious, but yeah. For example, this is a login page, vertically aligned. So I put a column here and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Same goes with here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. So most of the time when you deal with column or even row, you need to know about scrollable. Because usually your web app or your mobile app, they need to scroll. Yeah, that might seem obvious. Now, a good example here is I have a page for user to upload file. So let's say I upload like a lot. Interesting part here is only the middle part will scroll and then the header and the footer will fix. How can I do this? The layout here is I got a header and the middle part and a footer inside a column. But the parent column is not scrollable. That's why it's fixed. And the middle part got a column inside column inside column. Yeah, that's fucking possible. So the middle part, the column is scrollable and then make it expandable. Else, this will happen. We don't want this, right? So there's one thing usually you will need to use, which is dynamic children. Just hit the button here. This means you generate something based on database or something else dynamic. But the dynamic children can only have 1 children. Stop! What the frick? For example, this is okay, but you cannot create another child inside the row or column. If you don't believe, let's see what will happen. Let's see. Container. So container is simple compared to WordPress. For container, you need to remember 2 things only. Color, padding. Simple, right? Like in here, I can change the color to whatever I like purple, and I know it look disaster. The most used case is you simply use row and column, then when you realize you need color or padding, you wrap as a container. A shortcut to wrap is Ctrl+B. Text field. The most common case is you want user to input something, like in this case never gonna give, and you hit email, you email something, and it will text the value here. But text field is complicated. Let's say the field here is age, so it can only contain number, but the user input give. What will happen? The app will crash or your database will crash. Yeah, either one will happen. So validation form widget is to combine with text field to check the value. Just wrap at the top. Okay, button. So button is a button. So in button here, you can change a lot like color or text. But I think for button, you need to check this show loading indicator. It makes the user experience way more better. Trust me. And you can also give some icon inside the button like bird. But button is action, else the button is fucking useless. And in my cases, the action looks something like this. So the last one is text. So text is just for showing text. But for styling, there's way too many options to choose. But usually, text is dynamic. Dynamic means this value is according to something else. This does not belong to this video. So yeah. So that's basically the 6 widget that you're going to use 90% of the time. Blah 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 blah. And see you next time. Have a nice day.